Hey everybody, and welcome back. For those of you just tuning in, this is Tattoo Collectables, and I'm your host, Eric. Today on the show, we're going to do a couple things. We're going to open a little mail. We got a little, some cool mail in the mail. And then we're going to hit you with another one of our machine hit segments. This one is a machine that came out of Chicago. I got by accident. Plus, I've got a big announcement today. The person who won the drawing, the 500 subscriber drawing, never got in touch with me, which means they don't really watch this show. I think they were promoting something else for themselves, which is fine. But if you're not going to watch the show, you're not going to win the prize. So, not this week, but next week, we're going to re-roll. And I'll tell you how to get in on that in case you missed it the last time. So, without any further ado, let's get to this mail. What's in the mail? All right, what's in the mail? I'll tell you the first thing we need to do is get out our Mr. Domo Tennessee Fighting Knife. And if you ain't got one of these yet, you shouldn't sleep on it. Get with Mr. Domo from Humboldt, Tennessee, and he will make you one as well. So, now this first package this week, I have not opened it all. It's weird. It's they went to send it in a regular envelope. And apparently they got it to the post office. The post office was like, oh, you can't send that in a regular envelope. You're going to have that in a fancy schmancy envelope. So they put it in a different one. So now we're going to open the original one. I just love the sound this knife makes when it cuts through paper. Alrighty. Oh, I know what these are. So, a few weeks back, we got some Tux Fairer photos. And you know me, when I get one thing, I want at least two things to be able to put in, when you display it. So I came across these super cool Tux Fairer business cards. Man, they got these in there today. But I saw these online and I was like, oh, those are super neat. Now, one of these is from when he was underground back in the 80s. Let's see if we can't figure out the mystery of the package. Here we go. We're just gonna rip that up. I don't want to rip the cards. Alrighty, and there we go. So, now this Speakeasy, the Velvet Touch by appointment. So he said that the guy that I bought him from said that this one was from 1989 and it was his underground card. So he's got no contact information on this. You can't tell who it's from or where it is or anything like that. I'm assuming that when he was doing the Speakeasy stuff, he would write the information on the back as far as how to get a hold of him. Now on the front, there are some drawings. These drawings look like the ones done by Greg Irons for the Tattoo Archive. They've got a set of postcards that look like those. This one is Tux's Tattoo Studio, Baltimore. So this is when he was down in Baltimore at 637 North. Man, that's a neat looking little card for people who are individuals. So I thought these were neat. I got 4 of them. Here's this pink one is Mojo style. This one actually has a phone number on it. And then there's Tux's Electric Tattooing Studio in Brooklyn Park, Maryland. This is actually a sticker. So I got 3 cards and a sticker. I got them fairly cheap. And the deal is, anytime you can get, cards from the 80s, especially if they're not over 20 bucks, I don't know why you're not popping on them. I do. I'd say these are worth probably 10 or 15 bucks each. I think would be a fair estimate on what these are worth. I love having them. These will all go into the Tux Fairer collection. I'd love to get a machine of his to put in there, but I'm not sure. I don't know if he made machines or if he just made beautiful tattoos. So that's the first thing we got in the mail today. I'm pretty stoked on that. I love tattoo business cards. Matter of fact, anybody out there who's a tattooer and has a business card, why haven't you sent it to this show yet? The address is always in the description, and feel free to send me whatever you like. I'll open it on the show and tell everybody about the cool cat or kitten that sent it. So this next package it's another example of one of my guys, Ross. Ross is a reader. He loves to read. Every time I get a new tattoo book, he'll devour it, and I think that is awesome. So he was reading in one of the books that I got about a article. This one's in there too, ladies and gentlemen. He was telling me about an article from the 30s from Life magazine. And while he was talking to me about it, I was like, I'm gonna see if those are available at all. So I get online, and sure enough, they've got ample copies of these out there. If you are wanting one, they are out there. Ooh, I almost cut it. And then they put it in this. It's like opening a present. All right. Wow, let's get rid of it. Now I know why it was in that tissue paper. This is from December 21st, 1936. So if you're looking for this one, here's what it looks like. Got a little baby carriage on the front of it, got some old man. Got Santa Claus puffing a lucky on the back or whatnot. So now I haven't looked through this one yet. I love these old magazines because it's kind of like a slice of life from that time. Like I said, I haven't opened this one yet, so I'm not sure what is even. Here we go. I have seen this article. So this is one of those articles that when you see it, you'll know. Like you've seen this one 50 times. It's one of 10 Americans are tattooed, and this is, who's it got a picture of in here? We got Professor Wagner is responsible for this girl's condition, is what it says. It's got some really neat looking flash in it from 1936, but that's what the layout looks like. I've seen people try to sell these for like 30-40 bucks, just the article. Not the entire thing, just the article. And I believe that article that's it. You get the two pages. It's got 3 pieces of flash. It's got a picture of Apache Harry. It says he earns $3,000 a year. Like that was, ooh, $3,000 a year, no kidding. I couldn't keep my shop open if I made $3,000 a year. Let's see, the rear view of Michael Brandmeier. It took 4 years to tattoo him all over, it says, by Apache Henry. And they are worth $400, this whole bodysuit that he's got on him. It's an awesome little article. I think here in the future, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put together a book of all the articles that I have, because that's not the first one I bought. There's another Life magazine that had some stuff about Tuttle in it. There's been quite a few over the years that have had tattoo-related items in them. I think it would be cool to have a compendium. I bought a compendium from Maddie Rinks about a year ago. You can see it on the show. It was a Tuttle book, and it was all of the articles that he'd collected from the newspaper, which I thought were cool. A lot of these you'll never see. Like, if somebody didn't compile them into this book, it would have been lost to history. So thanks out there, Maddie. You're a fucking superstar, and we all know it. But I might do something similar with this one here in the near future with stuff like these. So that's what we had in the mail this week. Hopefully you enjoyed the little What's in the Mail segment. I know it was a small one, but right now my shop has been rocking. So I'm a little behind on the hunt for history. So we're gonna do another one of these machine head segments. Hopefully you like this one. All right, machine heads, we're back. This is our next installment of machine heads. Now, this one I picked up this week, and I spent 20 bucks for 3 machines. Okay, and I do this all the time. I'm not even gonna show you a picture of the other two because they suck so bad. They're typical Chinese knockoff crap. One of them was an ITS, but it was a plain Jane ITS. I mean, they're good if you want to strip it down and rebuild something out of it, but as they said, they never were really great. The other one was like a super cheap bent frame. Like I said, I'm not even going to show you those. The one I am going to show you is an ITS machine. Okay, it is a iron workhorse, is what they call them. Now, anytime you hear something that sounds close to something else, like you gotta take it with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? Like normally, if they say this is an Aaron Bain machine, you know what they mean, and it's not. You know, it's not even close. This one, however, back in the day, back in the 90s, International Tattoo Supply was running out of Chicago. And they were Chinese built equipment, but with a little bit of integrity on some of it. The coils I never cared for, but I have built with their frames. And like, are their frames the end all be all? No. Were they all I could afford when I started building frames? Yes. So that's what I used. And they weren't bad. They weren't great, but they weren't bad. I used an international tattoo machine when I was in Florida. I couldn't afford one of the $300, $400 machines, and I used one that I actually built myself. And here's how I did it. They did this one the same way. I can tell because of they didn't normally put really great parts on their machine. You had to order the parts separately. And they called those an ITS custom. So this one is an ITS custom. So normally they did not come with this little tube vise push. Normally they just came, and I'll show you. You'll laugh when you see this. Normally they just came like that. So they had a hole in the top. It was a tube killer vise. So eventually what would happen is this little sleeve inside would deteriorate and mess up, and your screw from your tightening screw would work its way through your steel tube. That's why they called them a tube killer. Now this little piece here was an extra piece that you had to purchase separately, and it stopped it from being a tube killer because it applied even pressure across the sleeve. So it would cause the sleeve to curl down instead of one point coming down and hitting your hitting your tube. I could not think of the word for tube there for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I might be slipping myself. So that was an addition. The front and rear binding posts on this are their lug edition, and the lug editions did not come with their machines. You had to order them separately. So someone took the time, back in the day I'm assuming, to order, and it's got a super wide arm. Look at that armature bar. That armature bar is the size of a chocolate chip. It is a big armature bar in there. So when I got this, like I said, I paid $20 for all three of these machines. This one is, somebody built this one from the ITS lineup, and they used ITS coils, which usually were not very good at all. I had several that just didn't work at all. You'd get them, you'd hook them up, and all of a sudden you'd have a machine put together and you'd hit the pedal, niente. So you had to be careful with these. But now this one, when I got it, the first thing I do when I get a tattoo machine in my hand is I'll pull the spring down. And when I do that, I'll look at the gap in between the coil and the armature bar. This one has almost no gap. It was gapped very well. Whoever put it together nicely. It does have a seriously, like with me, usually the gap on like between your contact point and your spring, normally for me, a liner gap is a dime, a shader gap is a nickel. That's the way I was trained, and you just use those as that's how much space you need. This one's got a significant throw. It's probably a double nickel throw on it. So we're gonna throw it on the old ship go here. That's a low rumble on that machine, man, let me tell you. But Here's the funny thing, and what's that running at? 9. It's running at 9.2 without a load on it, which means with a load, it'd probably run at 11, 11 and a half, which is high. They tend to heat up a little bit, but the hit on this is beautiful. For such a cheap piece of shit, it has a beautiful throw on it. Now, what I would need to do to see if this was worth a crap, even worth rebuilding, I would need to use it on someone. And that someone would probably be me. I would probably either do one on myself just to check, or have one of my guys use this machine on me as a shader. As a shader, it feels like it would do the job, but it is a heavy machine, man. This thing probably weighs a good, I don't know, 10 ounces. It's weighty. But the geometry on it looks okay. I mean, the swing arm's bent just slightly, but I think they bent that to make a better contact with their contact point. Whoever built it definitely built it with the mind of using it, not of selling it. Otherwise, he would have done things like, straightened up some stuff. But I mean, as far as somebody walking in and selling, a kit, and that's what it was. It was somebody walked in off the street. They had a kit, and you've seen them. They're pieces of shit. They're black with the silver piping on them. Every time somebody walks in with those that A, glove up, B, you're not going to want it, and C, it's full of cheap, dirty shit, and they always are. This one was no different. This one was totally grimy. I had to clean this thing several times. And but that being said, $20 is what I gave them for the whole kit. I threw most of it in the garbage. I kept the 3 machines because I think one day I'm going to take these some of these cheap frames and weld them all into a throne or an armrest or something. But this one shocked me, man. This one I didn't think was a piece of crap. I did at first. When I first looked at it, I immediately knew what it was. But upon further investigating, the parts on it are better than they normally are. It's nicely carved. 100% of the surface is carved, which I think is cool. I think the carving was done in the casting, but I mean, somebody had to carve that to cast it, So in my opinion, when you see these come into your shop, pop on them. Give the guy $20. That's pretty much all they're looking for, $20-$30. If they're looking for any more than that, then just tell them no. I buy these strictly to get them off of the street. That's what I did with this one. But every now and then you get a gem. Last time I bought one off the street, I bought a 1998 Soba prefab. I thought it was a fake. I had to call Workhorse Irons to send them a picture just to make sure it was real. And it was, and I've been using it ever since. So don't just throw them under the bus when they come in. Anytime somebody calls and says, hey, do you all buy tattoo equipment? Yes, we sure do. Bring it in. Because I'm still waiting on that one to come in that's a Wagner or a Jensen. Just the other day I saw on Instagram, a gentleman had a Jensen with an original Jensen bottle and the original Jensen power supply that he had purchased from a dude whose grandpa just died, found it in his garage. You never know where these things are going to come from. So keep an eye out and buy it when you see it. Hopefully you enjoyed this segment of Machine Heads. We'll be back again next week. Till then, take it easy. So, I thought those were, I've always loved those little machines. I've had several. They used to knock off like Zeiss and all kinds of stuff. This one isn't really a knockoff. This one is one of their decent machines. I actually like the way these run, even though they're Chinese. So, that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. If you've stuck around this long, you definitely have. So here's what you need to do to get in on this next week's, 2 weeks from now. I'm doing shows every 2 weeks now. But this is the way to get in it. What you want to do is you want to comment below. Leave any comment you like. And then you'll be in on the drawing again. Now, if you want to know what's going to be in that drawing, go back and watch the 500 subscribers drawing. That's what we're drawing for again, because the person who won it never got in touch with me. And if you don't get in touch with me, guess what? I'm going to give it to somebody else. So comment down below, and next time you see this show, I'll spin the wheel again, and we'll figure out who wins what. Till I see you guys again, here's what I want you to do. I want you to be cool to each other. The world needs that. I want you to stay safe. And I want you to keep on collecting. Hey everybody, thanks for watching, and please hit the subscribe button down below and check out these videos. We worked real hard on these too, and I think if you enjoyed this one, you'll enjoy those too.